Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to my bookish world. I'm Alex, and today I'm going to be doing the Julie and the Phantom's book, or Julie and the Phantom's song tag. So last week I brought you the Julie and the Phantom's book tag, but these questions are based on the songs. I don't remember who the original creator is, but I will leave their post below. I believe it was on a blog where I got this specific one from, but yeah, I'm wearing my Sunset Curve shirt in, not memory, obviously. Although maybe in memory, depending on if they ever renew season 2. Netflix, are you watching? Maybe I'll send this to Netflix and say renew season 2. Renew season 2. But let's get into it. So, first question, now or never, a book at the top of your TBR. For this one, I put Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson. Actually, I just bought this book because I needed free shipping on something, and so I bought the book. So that should be here, hopefully at the end of the week. But I've been saying that I've wanted to read this book for forever, and I haven't yet, which is truly embarrassing, so I need to read that. Hopefully, I think it's on my TBR for the month of August, so hopefully I get to that very soon. And then number 2 is Wake Up, a book you were hesitant to read. For this, I put Twice in a Blue Moon by Christina Lauren. The only reason I was hesitant to read this is because I had heard some pretty mixed reviews on this book, but I ended up really enjoying it. I think it's not my favorite, but it was 4 stars, so I really enjoyed this. And I definitely think that if you go into it with lower expectations, you're going to enjoy it more. Number 3, This Band is Back, a sequel that you waited a long time for. Chain of Iron, obviously. Basically, I read Chain of Gold pretty soon after it was released in the same month, and so obviously I had to wait like a year for Chain of Iron. But I'm very excited that I have it. It's beautiful and I loved it, and I gave it 5 stars, so yeah, self-explanatory. Also waiting a year for Train of Thorns, but that's fun. Number 4, Bright, a book that took you by surprise. For this one, I put Perfect on Paper by Sophie Gonzalez. This one really didn't. This sounds weird that I'm saying taken by surprise. I really enjoyed this book. Sophie Gonzalez had not been an author that I had read previously when I picked up this book, but I absolutely adored it, and I've already picked up one of her other books, and I will definitely be picking up anything that she writes from now on. I loved this book. I think I gave like a 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was amazing. 10 out of 10, or 9 out of 10, I guess technically, but I really recommend it. Also, bisexual main character and lots of talk about biphobia, so really recommend it. And then number 5, Wow, an action-packed book. For this one, I went with The Crown of Gilded Bones. I haven't read a lot of action-packed books lately. I feel like a lot of the books that I've read have been slower. When I'm reading fantasy, I've been reading a lot of contemporary lately, and that's why I chose this one, because it was the most recent fantasy that I read. There isn't a ton of fast-moving scenes, but there are a lot of great action scenes, and I do think that the action scenes are really great in here. Number 6, Flying Solo, a book with an incredible friendship. For this one, I had to go with Counting Down with You. I absolutely adore the friendship between Karina and her friends. I think that it was really well done. I love how her friends were supporting her, but also, they wanted the best for her, even though they had a hard time kind of understanding the religion aspect and how strict her parents are. I still think they were just really awesome friends, and honestly, if you have not read this book, read it. I love it. See, she's signed. I love this book so much. Number 7, I Got the Music. A book that got you out of a reading slump. This is actually what I'm technically currently reading, although hopefully I'll have this book finished by the time that this video goes up, and that's If the Shoe Fits by Julie Murphy. This doesn't come out until the beginning of August. I got an e-arc from NetGalley, so thank you to the publishers for that. But basically, it took me 2 weeks to read The Crown of Gilded Bones, just because you know, it's a bigger book. It usually takes me longer to read bigger books, but then also, like, I started a program during that, and it's 3 weeks, very intensive, so I was just not in the reading mood. So it took me forever, but if the shoe fits, it's taking me almost a week, I think, at this point to finish, and I'm really enjoying it. Basically, it follows this girl named, I'm reading this book, why can't I remember her name? Cindy, who is fat, and just recently graduated from college, and she gets a chance to go on this dating show that is a lot like The Bachelor, and it's just so good. I love it so much. Julie Murphy, I've read a few of her books, mostly in her Dumpling series, have not been my favorite, but I really like the direction that she's taken. I think maybe because it's more mature, I'm really liking it more. But I think it's part of a new series, like the Meant to Be series, and I'm really excited to read more of those books if they're as great as this one, even though I'm not done with them. Number 8, The Other Side of Hollywood, a book with a great ensemble of characters. For this one, I went with The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Duh. That's all I have to say. If you have not read this book, I don't know where you've been, but great ensemble of characters and beautifully written, and one of my all-time favorite books. Number 9, All Eyes on Me, the prettiest book in your collection. For this one, I got the 10th anniversary edition of City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. I think this is the prettiest book I own because just, I mean, look at it. Look at it. The end pages. Oh, man. And, like, I think there's some artwork in here at some point. Let me see if I can find it. But it's just beautiful. I haven't actually read this one, but, like, yeah, it's stunning. And I love this book so much. And also the back. I love it so much. Finally Free, a series you wish you'd never end. Now, I know the series is technically ended. The entirety of the universe is ended, but Percy Jackson and the Olympians, I love this series. I still haven't read The Tower of Nero. Is that the last book? Yeah. The Tower of Nero, the last book in the Apollo series, hopefully soon. But I'm kind of putting it off because I don't want it to end. I love these books so much. They're like my childhood, my loves. I don't know what I'm gonna do when I read the last book. Cry, probably. So yeah, even though I know it's ended, I hope it never ends. I hope he one day changes his mind and decides to write another book, but at least we're getting a TV show. So that's something. And then we have Perfect Harmony, your favorite OTP. For this one, I went with Damon and Katie from Obsidian, or from the Lux series. Look, I know that Obsidian is kind of, or Damon especially, is a little bit toxic. But this man, he has so much character growth throughout the series, and it's by the end, oh man. And, like, obviously, I don't want somebody as possessive as he is, but, like, reading it in books, man, is my guilty pleasure. So yeah, Damon and Katie in Lux series. And then we have Edge of Great, a book that is almost perfect. For this, I put A Duke by Default by Alyssa Cole. This is the second book in her Reluctant Royal series, the first book being A Princess in Theory. And I think I gave A Princess in Theory like 3 stars, but I ended up giving Duke by Default 4 stars. It was for sure almost perfect, a complete step up from the first book, which obviously makes sense. But I adore this book, and I'm almost done with the series, the Reluctant Royal series, so that's kind of terrifying. Number 13 is Unsaid Emily, a book that made you cry, and honestly, I don't remember the last time a book made me cry, so I'm skipping that one. Sorry. Number 14, You Got Nothing to Lose, A Villain You Love to Hate, President Stowe. If you know, you know. Obviously, if you haven't read you might not have read The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which is fine, but you can understand, just from the Hunger Games, why he's such a great villain. Like, he's a horrible human being, but he's a great villain. And I think I am on the minority that adored this book, so I think it's really good. But to each their own. And then number 15, Stand Tall, A Book That Gave You Feelings. For this one, I put The Soulmate Equation, also by Christina Lauren, which I also read last month, I think. May? Yeah, May. It was really good. I also was not expecting a lot out of it, just because, again, people haven't been loving Christina Lauren books as much lately, but I adored it. And, yeah, that's it. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Follow all my social media down below. That's Twitter, Instagram, and Goodreads. And I will see you guys next time. Goodbye!